guys, welcome to One Piece Explained. I'm Nerdy Perkins.
And I'm Redbeard Shanks. Today we're reviewing chapter 878, Commander Pedro of the Mink Guardians.
We start out with a flashback of Pedro being returned to Zoe, or at least that's what I assume is going on, after his encounter with Big Mom. And Perospero tells him that he's now more like 77 than his actual age of 27. Which I don't... If we're doing the math and all that stuff, he would probably be like 87 or so. They may have already said what he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's probably been about 10 years since he got his lifespan taken.
But not that that's all important at the moment, because, the biggest thing that we get is we get kind of more hints at that, bringing of a new dawn. And he reveals that his crew's name of the Nox Pirates isn't just referring to night, but the moment before the dawn.
And speaking of moments, we get a really cool moment with Gold Roger, which is awesome. We don't get that very often in the series. Especially a panel of Gold Roger's face and him saying, everybody gets their moment to shine. And I mean, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
I think that, kind of even hints more towards like Luffy, because he's about to get a big moment to shine here with his fight at Katakuri, but we'll talk about that later.
The explosion brings us back to the present as the Straw Hats are freed by the momentary collapse of Perospero, I would assume.
Right, yeah. I mean, this explosion's big enough to presumably kill Pedro, and we see Big Mom get knocked over, so it's obviously a big-time explosion, and I would assume that, at least for a brief moment, Perospero was knocked unconscious, and that's why the Sunny kind of breaks off, and Chopper and Brook kind of come back to life. You see them like gargling on melting candy. So
and we see that Big Mom gets knocked back and everything like that. Katakuri basically states I'm not letting you guys leave while I'm on this ship, and Luffy promptly is like, well, I'm going to get you off the ship, so...
Yeah, no, totally. Luffy has a super cool moment here where he's like, we're setting sail, and that's just, I don't know. I love when Luffy really takes charge of his ship, and it really just kind of shows why he's the captain of the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
And he makes a really gutty move in grabbing Katakuri with Elephant Gun, which again, like we've kind of been talking throughout Whole Cake, Luffy's power is coming more in terms of mental improvements rather than just raw physical power. And I'd say this is definitely another mental improvement for Luffy, using a strategic move instead of, just his raw punch. He uses an Elephant Gun grab.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that was it. That was interesting because he goes like the punch and then the fingers pop out. But we see Carrot doing a little action with trying to attack Katakuri. But eventually, Luffy gets the upper hand.
Right.
And Katakuri basically says, or Katakuri sees what Luffy plans to do and basically resigns that, that's a good plan. That's a good idea.
And speaking of Carrot, she gets that little mini flashback where we really get to see kind of how much Pedro meant to her.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, is more points for Carrot for Nakama. If you don't believe that, you might as well get on the bandwagon, because look, we're gonna have her at least until the end of Wano, and by that point she's basically a crew member, so I would not be surprised if Carrot definitely joins the crew, especially now that we have a tragic backstory to tie into, and more diversity for the crew too, for that matter.
Yeah, and more so that unlike a lot of the other characters who are latched onto the crew that aren't official members, she, like you were just saying, she has more connection than they do. Well, I don't think Kinemon or any of them are likely going to go on past Wano. They are fulfilling more of a VV type role where, they'll ultimately have a larger role to play at the end, obviously, but they're not going to be with the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
Carrot seems to be, like you were saying exactly, seems to be, Otis seems to be cementing her more into that position.
Right.
But we'll see. We're going to be seeing her very shortly. Like this, it's I'm not. Sure. This arc is probably going to last another five chapters or so, maybe like that. There's going to be this battle with Katakuri that is gonna happen. So let's get to that, and then we can do the predictions.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We end with everyone bursting off, and Luffy has brought Katakuri into the mirror worlds, and that's kind of where we leave off.
Right, which again, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but Luffy keeps making mental leaps and bounds, which I think is great for the series. I think it makes Luffy a more three-dimensional character, and I think it makes it overall a more entertaining manga to read. So I think Luffy pulling him into the mirror world, getting him away from his other crew members, and allowing them to escape via coup de burst. And now Luffy is in a position where he can really fight Katakuri with everything he's got and no holds barred. I mean, they're locked in the cage. The cage just happens to be the mirror world. So 2 go in, 1 come out.
Yeah. I forget who said it. Someone mentioned like a possible, because I don't know if there's any other mirrors on the Sunny, but a possible escape or way that Germa could be tied back in would be if Luffy ends up on Germa's ship as a mirror to escape in. Right. Because that'll be one of the big questions. Because I assume, like, it's like, you know, he's obviously going to burst out of a mirror somewhere. The more interesting thing is which mirror and what that incurs. Because Germa's the one group we have not seen what's happened to them. Like,
true.
Since the cake fell, like we haven't even they didn't escape with the rest of the group, so we have no idea where they went. They just kind of disappeared.
True.
So
very true.
I'm very curious. That is a loose end that I'm sure will be tied up by the end. But it's one thing that I was like we still haven't seen it, but we're very caught up in this big escape, which is very cool. Yeah, I'm liking it right now. So
definitely, it's a very high intensity, high action part of the arc. And for people that were saying it was kind of down a little bit when the whole Big Mom was chasing, I think they're going to be very pleasantly surprised and enjoy the next couple chapters, because I think the action is going to rocket. I think we're going to get some good fight sequences. And this last panel, Oda has been killing the final panels the last couple ones. Like, we had the great one of Sanji not long ago, and now we get an awesome panel of Luffy staring at Katakuri. And man, do they look intense! Great art. But
I totally agree. Yeah, and there's not much to predict. I think we're gonna get a really cool fight next chapter. Yeah, I'm really excited.
The only thing I think might happen if we don't get right into the fight,
that's true. Then just have a habit of just...
It could cut over to Sanji and putting a chiffon in Chocolate Town, and maybe we could get a glimpse of what they're looking at. But I really, really hope that we just get into the fight.
It won't be a full... I'm sure...
That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, I'm sure that the chapter won't be all fighting just as much as, you're probably right. He likes to cut away right before these big moments just to get people amped up. I remember I think the Gear 4 transformation, you don't he does the Gear 4 and then the next chapter opens up and it's you're fucking flipping the pages oh my god,
where's Gear 4?
fucking or pardon me. You're just oh come on, just give it to me.
Right.
You're just probably 5 or 6 pages in and you get it. But
right.
No, you're totally right. We'll probably we'll probably catch up with what's going on with Sanji, Sanji and putting in them.
Right.
Hopefully they're maybe working on the cake by now.
I would
it's
hope
been
so.
a couple chapters, or at least they're there.
Yeah.
Would be the hope.
The question is, how fast is the magic carpet? Is it Game of Thrones Raven fast, or is it I don't know. What's the metric of speed? An unladen swallow?
Yeah.
Who knows? So I don't know.
It's a good question. It's a good question there. It's definitely a homie. So
it's definitely a homie, but I mean, it's not. Maybe they mirror world, but they don't mirror world because they're not with Brûlée. So, how fast is the carpet? We want to know. Tell us in the comments.
That's the question. And like the video if you definitely like that.
And subscribe if you want to see more.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Later.